obviously we can't go across the floor. Unless you have a big enough space in your house, then by all means do our tombe pas de bourrée to fourth pirouette down. But if you don't have that kind of space and you don't have a floor that you can turn on, like if your house is all carpet or something, that's totally okay. We can still get some good practicing in, and I think times like this, where you have to kind of just limit your movements, give us an opportunity to hone in on our technique in a way that we sometimes don't when we're in big class and class is constantly moving. And so today I'm just going to give you some tips and kind of things to think about when we're doing our pirouettes. So I just encourage you, if you have like one of those little mirrors that most people have in their rooms, you can go ahead and get that out. If not, you can even use your phone camera or just focus on your alignment, right? If you don't have access to a mirror, that's okay too. And so you can start your pirouette from a tendu fourth. And so with that preparation, it's so important to get all of that alignment down in your preparation. So when you do your tendu, right, we want to make sure that we're engaging the backs of our legs, right, pulling up through that supporting side. Like this is the leg, your left leg. Well, I guess if you're facing the camera, it would be the other one. But anyway, so the leg that you're going to be turning on is the one that's going to be your supporting leg from the tendu, and you want to make sure that that is engaged and that you're tall up on that leg, right? That's where it starts. You want to make sure that your abs are already engaged, your lower abdominals, your shoulders are down, your rib cage is closed, right? We don't want to do this because if you turn like that, right, you're going to fall backwards. So we want to make sure that our back is lengthened and our rib cage is closed, and you're engaging those muscles from up here all the way down to your lower abdominals. Shoulders are down, right, and our arms are connected to our back. So this is something that I think a lot of you need to work on. A lot of people struggle with this because our arms sometimes get floppy, and when we're focusing on our legs and we're focusing on our direction and what we're doing on the steps, our arms sometimes, our elbows drop, right, or when we're pirouetting, they kind of fall down, right? They need to be, they say kind of reflect your hands from your heart, so you want to you don't want to get too high where you're covering your face, but you also don't want to be dropping them. So you want to be able to hold them in this position, and they come from second to first, right? That is the movement of your arms. We don't want to do anything where you're dropping them or kind of going in different pathways. So efficiency is what's going to help us here. So you want to have your arms palms face forward, elbows are lifted, shoulders are pressing down, elongating the neck. You're lifting your sternum but not arching the back, right? So a lot to think about there. Tall on that supporting side. Your weight is not sinking into your heels, right? That's so important. They want to be over the balls of your feet. Your heels are forward, so you're engaging that turnout. Another thing that I noticed is a lot of people are kind of doing parallel pirouettes. Like when we balance with the bar, our passe is nice in its side, and everyone kind of has that down, and we're working on getting it even more side. But in our pirouette, somehow it ends up like this, or if not, it's somewhere hanging out in middle. So we want to make sure that our pirouettes have a very nice passe position as well. So that kind of starts in your preparation with engaging those turnout muscles and getting those muscles ready to hold that position in your turn. So we tendu, and sometimes just taking an extra couple seconds in this position to really kind of go inward and feel everything that's happening in your body and making sure you're going with that mental checklist. We don't always have time to do that in the studio when we just have a split second in that position. So really take the time now. If you want, you can pause the video to focus on all of those elements and figure out what your goal is, right? I said, so sometimes it's hard to think of everything at once, but if you pick one thing to focus on, for right now, I'm going to focus on engaging my turnout muscles. That's my thing. Or maybe your thing is, you really don't engage your core and you are opening your rib cage and things are kind of not stable on the core area. Maybe that's your goal. Or maybe you lift your shoulders a lot, or maybe your arms aren't connected. Whatever it is, just pick one thing, one or two things maybe that your brain can really focus on. And so focus on that in this position. And then when you move to your preparation, we want to make sure that stuff is even, we want to hone in on that even more. So your turnout muscles, we don't want a lazy fourth position, right? Fourth position is kind of hard, right? When we keep our feet turned out, we want our heels coming forward, our toes turning out. I guess you can't really see too much. Let me put this down a little bit. So you don't want a lazy fourth position. We never want to do a fourth like this unless we're in jazz class or if it's choreographed, right? So we want to make sure our fourth position is turned out, and we're holding that turnout, not by forcing it through our knees. We don't want to turn out from our feet, right? We turn out from our hips. And that involves a lot of muscle, right? It involves a lot of work. It involves the abdominals. It involves your hamstrings, your glute muscles, all of it, right? All of it's engaged to the point where this should be kind of hard to hold, right? Like after a while, like I'm kind of like shaking a little bit already, right? You're really pushing, really working for that turnout. And then with that, so you're here, your rib cage is closed, your hips are square, your shoulders are down, your arms are connected and they're getting ready. You don't want to wind up, right? We want it to come from the legs and from the core. And our weight should be a little bit forward, right? Because if your weight is even, or even worse if it's in the back leg, and you're trying to turn up onto that front leg, you have to change your weight a lot. So you want to make sure that your weight is a little bit more forward so you don't have as far to go. And then that's your preparation. And so this is so important to set yourself up for a successful turn. For right now, just work on the balance, right? And so you want to come from this position to your balance, right? People would tell me that a pirouette is really just a balance that turns. It's less of a turn and more of a balance. So if you can't balance in that passe position, you're not going to be able to do a successful turn, right? So we want to be able to keep our chin up. That's another thing too. Spotting and not looking at the ground ever, right? We're not looking at the ground at all. Chin's lifted, chest lifted. You're making that mental checklist. Over your toes, weight a little bit forward, shoulders are down, and then we simply just pop up to that passe. And it's really important too that you have energy in that. Because the more energy you have, or I guess if you're lazier and your movement's a little bit not as powerful, and you're just kind of like, oh, like I'll get there, right? There's like more of a chance of you falling out of that turn. So you want to go from here to here. So pause the video for a little bit, practice on that, practice those that just like getting that stuff in your body goes such a long way. So practice this position, getting everything engaged to that fourth position and up to that passe. And then if you have a floor that allows for it, you can go ahead and try turning. Just make sure you spot and don't turn if there's hazards in the way. I don't want you guys breaking any of your mom's stuff or hurting yourself. Cool, awesome. So you guys know what to do. Keep practicing and I'll see you soon, hopefully.